The last thing I asked you to do was to think about those emotional hooks. I'd like just quickly if you could tell me which one sort of stuck with some of you.
When the little boy, I think it was, came out of hospital, he's skipping along the hallway and he's going, my ears are good or fine or whatever, and I thought, I love the innocence and openness and just spontaneity of children.
Beautiful. Somebody else?
Baby, the pre-baby.
The premature baby.
The first one, where the man pushing the wheelchair patted the shoulder, that got to me. The parents who sung 19-year-olds on life support, and it was the baby.
Yeah. Anybody else?
The 19-year-old on life support.
Yeah.
Dad dying.
Dad dying. Yeah.
Pre-baby.
Yep.
Only waiting for the heart or something.
Yes.
I just felt so helpless.
Yes.
Oh, the poor thing.
Yes.
The dog in the hospital.
The dog in the hospital. Yeah, lovely. Baby, anybody else?
The elderly not understanding.
Not understanding. Didn't she look shell-shocked? You know, that was a lovely bit of...
5 years of marriage.
Yep.
The contrast in the lift between
The three people.
in a lift, and there's so much going on for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
The end of the 12-hour shift.
Yeah, end of 12-hour shift.
Do not resuscitate.
Sorry? Do not resuscitate. Wow, that was... Yeah. Yeah. Okay. When we have those emotional hooks, we will tend to turn up in our work in sympathy. Both sympathy and empathy have roots in the Greek term pathos, meaning suffering, feeling. The prefix sim comes from the Greek sin, meaning with or together with, and the prefix am derives from the Greek en, meaning within or in. Now, if you go and search the difference between these two, it's quite interesting. It's not conclusive. There's a whole lot of different thoughts about the difference between sympathy and empathy. I'm going to give you my take on it. Sympathy is feeling sorrow or pity for the hardships that another person encounters. Their suffering is also your suffering. That's the important key here. And your sorrow and pity is as much your suffering as it is for them, and maybe more so. You are compelled to help or rescue them. When you come from a place of sympathy, you are emotionally caught into the same pain. And that is your pain, not theirs. And at that place, your work is about relieving your pain, not theirs. So you're wanting to give them what you want for yourself. And what happens is we start to develop codependent relationships, and a whole lot of other things start to play out that basically are a formula for continued suffering. As opposed to empathy is putting yourself in the shoes of another. You see how that's different? You remain the observer of their suffering, and even though you can understand their suffering, you are not suffering. You will be moved by compassion to serve them in just the same way as a midwife or doula serves a woman giving birth. In being empathetic, you are mindful of your needs while being mindful of others. It's a completely different way. So as we're watching that film, we can identify and recognise their suffering. See, some of you would have seen parts of that film and not had any emotional connection, yet you had empathy for it. The minute that you went into a hook, an emotional hook, that is then about you. Now, what's really interesting in this is understanding the difference between form and content. So this is about understanding that when you go into an emotional situation, which is a sympathetic response, and somebody is demonstrating a certain behaviour that triggers for you, yours may not be showing up in exactly the same form. but the content to the situation, in other words, what the core drive, desire, feeling or motivation is that sits behind it, is yours. And that's what you're responding to, is what you own in the content of the experience, not the form necessarily. Sometimes it's very blatantly the form. You know, I just, for me, the emotional hook was the mother and the daughter going to say goodbye to a terminally ill father. I've been in that situation, you know, and it was interesting. I just recently went to a funeral where the couple of funerals I've been to have been cremations, and I hadn't been to a graveside funeral. And when I watched the coffin being put down into the ground, I was zapped 29 years back to my father and being at the graveside and the pain that I felt. And so when I saw my heart really tugged at when I saw the mother and the daughter, I'm thinking, that's my pain about losing my father. That's got nothing to do with actually their pain. I'm in my pain. And you see, what happens is we have those experiences and we turn up in our clinical situation as healers and we respond to our pain as we try to help other people. And then all sorts of things come up when we can't resolve their pain, because we see it as a way of being able to resolve our own. And of course, while you're trying to deal with it out there, you can't resolve it in here. What's interesting is lots of those people will turn up in your life. Lots of those situations will keep appearing in order to give you an opportunity to resolve that. Everyone okay with that?
Yes.